Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, GS Crochet. I hope you are all doing well today. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet a puff stitch beanie. This beanie size is specifically for young kids and young teens, so the sizing for this beanie will fit people ages 10 to 14, but this could also change depending on who you are because everyone is different. But there will be a sizing note in the description box below if you want the beanie to be larger, and the sizing will fit an older teen to young adult. The only thing that's going to be different are the first 3 rounds, but everything else is going to be exactly the same. If you want to add a pom-pom to the top, I will leave that video in the description box below. Now that's all out of the way, you can grab your tea, a cozy blanket, and let's begin. For this beanie, you'll need scissors, a darning needle, a hook, I used a 6mm crochet hook, and some yarn. I used a very colorful, cute yarn. To start off your beanie, you're going to grab your yarn and make an adjustable loop. So you're going to get 2 fingers and wrap your yarn around your fingers like so. Grab the longer end and wrap it around your fingers so you have this X formation. And now you're going to grab your hook, insert it through the first loop, grab the loop in the back, and pull up. And now you're going to grab your yarn and chain 1. Now you have your adjustable loop. So now you're going to insert 6 single crochets into this loop. So insert your hook, grab your yarn, and pull through. Once you have all 6, you're going to grab your tail and pull. And now you're going to count backwards until you get to your 6th stitch, and you're going to slip stitch. To slip stitch, you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch, grab your yarn, and pull through both loops. And now you're going to chain 1. For round 2, you're going to insert 2 single crochets in each stitch. So you had 6 single crochets in your first round, and in your second round you should have 12. So in each stitch, you're going to insert 2 stitches. And here at the end, you should have a total of 12 single crochets. And now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. For round 3, you're going to insert 4 single crochets in each stitch. At the very end, you should have a total of 48 single crochets. At the very end, you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet. And it's okay if it's wavy, it's supposed to be like that. Slip stitch into your first single crochet. And you should notice that the side facing you right now is the right side and this is the wrong side. Keep that in mind. And now we're going to do 26 chains. Make sure your chains are loose because we will be working in them later. So do 26 chains. Once you have your 26 chains, it should look like this. And now we're going to be doing a row of single crochets. We're going to be working in the back loops only because it'll help us out once we get to the end. So you're going to be working your single crochets in the back loops, not in the side loops. So from your second stitch from your hook, you're going to do a single crochet and single crochet in each chain until you get to the very end. I'm here at the very end. Don't forget to single crochet in your first chain. You should have a total of 25. And now we're back to where we did our rounds. We're going to find the next available stitch that we see, and we're going to slip stitch into it. So slip stitch into your next available single crochet of your rounds, and slip stitch into the one after that. So you should have a total of 2 slip stitches, and now you chain 1. And now we're going to be turning our work and doing our puff stitches. You should see that once you flip your work to do your puff stitches, the wrong side should be facing you. So now you're going to skip the first 3 stitches, and we're going to work our puff stitch into our 4th stitch. Insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull up, wrap your yarn around your hook, insert it one more time, grab some more yarn, you should have a total of 4. Wrap your yarn around your hook one more time, insert it, and grab more yarn. Now you have 6 loops on your stitch. And now you're going to grab yarn and pull through all 6 loops and chain 1. You have just made a puff stitch. Now you're going to skip your next chain and work another puff stitch into the stitch after that. Don't forget to chain 1, or else your stitch count is going to differ in the next row. So after each puff stitch, you're going to skip a stitch, chain 1, and work another puff stitch. At the end, you should have 6 single crochets left. Now we're going to make our border. We're going to skip the first one because we always skip a stitch after we make our puff stitch. And we're going to single crochet into the back loops only. So insert your hook into the second stitch in the back loop only and do a single crochet. You're going to do 4 single crochets in the back loop only, and you should have 1 stitch left over. In your final stitch, you're going to insert your hook into both loops and do a single crochet. This gives the bottom border a nicer finish. And now we've chained 1, and we're going to be working another row of single crochets. So single crochet in your very first stitch, and then single crochet in the back loops of the next 4. So your border should be 5 single crochets in total. And now we're going to single crochet in the puff stitches. You should notice that on top of the puff stitches you have these little V's. You're going to be inserting your hook into each of them and inserting a single crochet. So single crochet in each V until you get to the very end. Don't forget to do a single crochet in the last V of your last puff stitch. And now we're back at our rounds. So there may be like a little gap there, but you can just ignore it. We're gonna find our next available single crochets of our rounds and slip stitch into the first and slip stitch into the next. So 2 slip stitches. We're always going to be doing 2. Then you chain 1 and turn. Now you're going to skip your single crochet and your 2 slip stitches and do a puff stitch into your fourth stitch. Once you've done your puff stitch, don't forget to chain 1, skip a stitch, and work another puff stitch. Continue doing the puff stitch until you have 6 single crochets left. I'm here at the very end. I have 6 single crochets left. Once again, you're going to skip the first one because you always skip after a puff stitch. And then you're going to be working into the back loops only and do back loop single crochets in the next 4. And then in the last one, you're going to single crochet in both loops. Chain 1 and turn. This is how it should look like so far. Now we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and single crochet in the back loops only of the next 4. And now we're back to our puff stitch. You should notice that we have a 5 single crochet border at the bottom. And now we're back to our puff stitch. Once again, you're going to insert a single crochet in each of the V's that are on top of the puff stitch until you get to the very end. So single crochet, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end. Don't forget to single crochet into your last V of your puff stitch. And now we're back at our rounds. So now we're going to find our next available single crochet and slip stitch into the one after that as well, and then chain 1. Now turn your work and work into your 4th chain from your hook and do a puff stitch. You should notice that in each of the puff stitch rows we should have the same number of puff stitches. I'm here at the very end, and this is how it should look like so far. You should notice that after every puff stitch, you have to skip a stitch. And after this last puff stitch, you have to skip that stitch again. And you're going to do 4 single crochets in the back loops only. And then in your last single crochet, you're going to single crochet in both loops. Then you chain 1 and turn. Single crochet in your first stitch, and single crochet in the back loops only of your next 4 stitches. Now you're going to single crochet in each of the V's on top of the puff stitch. Once you get to the very end, you're going to slip stitch into your next 2 available stitches, and then chain 1 and turn. Now you're going to insert your hook into your 4th stitch and do a puff stitch. So this is your repeat pattern. You're going to do a row of puff stitches, and then once you get to the end, you should have a total of 6. Skip 1 and do 4 single crochets in the back loops only, and then single crochet in both. Then you chain 1, turn, do a single crochet in your 1st stitch, single crochets in the back loops only, and then a row of single crochets. That is your repeat. So a row of puff stitches and then a row of single crochets, and your border should have 5 stitches. I'm here at the very end, and this is how it should look like. So you started with a row of single crochets. That means you should have ended with a puff stitch. And now you can grab your darning needle if you'd like, but for this video I'm just going to be using my hook to stitch both ends together. So you should notice that the side that has the most puffiness of the puff stitches is your front, and the flatter side, the inside of it, is the opposite side. So now you're going to flip your beanie inside out. You're going to grab your hook, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to stitch both ends together. There should be the same number of stitches on both sides, so you're just going to be stitching each stitch together. You can either single crochet them together, or you can slip stitch them together. Or of course you can use your darning needle. Once you get to the very end, you're going to just chain 1 and snip off a little bit of yarn, and you can just tuck that yarn in if you'd like. Now you're going to flip your hat back around, and now you have your puff stitch beanie. If you liked this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see me do next. I was planning on making 2 videos a week rather than 1, so if you'd like me to make 2 videos, let me know. If you did not understand something in this video, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Also, again, there is a sizing note in the description box below if you'd like a larger size beanie. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!